There is a truth most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid, a truth so uncomfortable that the human mind creates endless distractions just to escape it. Nobody cares. Not truly. Not in the way you hope. The world does not stop for your pain. It does not pause for your struggles. It does not reward you simply because life has been difficult. And the earlier you accept this, the stronger you become. Most people waste years waiting for sympathy, waiting for support, waiting for understanding, waiting for someone to notice their suffering and rescue them from it. But the world has never belonged to those who wait. It belongs to those who adapt. This is the brutal lesson weak men refuse to learn. They believe their suffering makes them special. It does not. Everyone suffers. Everyone struggles silently. Everyone carries disappointment. Everyone fights battles privately. But while weak people use suffering as an excuse, powerful people use suffering as fuel. That is the difference. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He understood that reality rewards strength, not emotional appeal. The world may pity weakness briefly, but it respects power permanently. And power begins the moment you stop expecting the world to care, because dependence creates vulnerability. The man who emotionally depends on validation, on approval, on recognition, becomes controlled by them. His emotions rise and fall according to how others respond to him, which means his peace no longer belongs to him. It belongs to the crowd, and crowds are unstable. One day they praise you, the next day they ignore you, the next day they destroy you. Public approval is one of the weakest foundations a man can build his identity upon, because it shifts constantly. Wise men understand this. They stop performing for attention. They stop explaining themselves endlessly. They stop begging to be understood, and they begin building silently because they realize something dangerous. The world only notices results, not intentions, not excuses, not potential. Results. A disciplined body gets noticed. A sharp mind gets noticed. Competence gets noticed. Power gets noticed. But complaints? The world forgets them instantly. This is why emotional self-control is rare. Most people desperately want someone to care about their frustration. They want sympathy more than solutions. And sympathy feels comforting temporarily, but it changes nothing. Reality remains untouched by emotion. The bills still arrive. The pressure still exists. The competition continues. Life keeps moving, with or without your readiness. And this is where transformation begins. The moment you stop asking, "Why does nobody care?" and start asking, "How can I become stronger?" everything changes, because now your energy moves toward power instead of pity, toward discipline instead of excuses, toward growth instead of emotional dependence. This is why hardship creates dangerous men. Pain removes illusion, disappointment removes naivety, rejection removes weakness, and loneliness teaches self-reliance. Weak men become bitter through suffering. Strong men become disciplined through it. They understand something important. No one is coming to carry them, which means they must become capable enough to carry themselves. This realization is painful initially, but eventually, it becomes freedom, because once you expect less from the world, you stop being controlled by it emotionally. Insults lose power, rejection loses power, neglect loses power. You become calmer, more focused, more dangerous. Not because life became easier, but because emotional dependence disappeared. This is what many people misunderstand about strength. Strength is not loudness. It is emotional stability under pressure, the ability to continue forward without applause, without reassurance, without constant validation. Anyone can feel motivated when supported. Few can remain disciplined when ignored. And that is where real power is built, in silence, in isolation, in moments where nobody is watching. Machiavelli understood that the world respects utility. Capability results, not vulnerability. This may sound cruel, but cruelty does not disappear simply because people dislike hearing it. Reality remains reality, and reality rewards competence. This is why powerful men build themselves relentlessly, not because the world cares about their dreams, but because the world responds to strength. If you become valuable, disciplined, focused, mentally resilient, opportunities appear differently. Respect appears differently. Life responds differently, not because the world became kinder, but because you became stronger. That is the secret. Weak people wait for external change. Powerful people create internal change first, and internal change alters everything. So stop wasting energy trying to make the world understand your pain. Use that pain, transform it into discipline, transform it into focus, transform it into ambition. Because suffering becomes dangerous once it gains direction. Remember this carefully. Nobody cares. And that is not your tragedy. It is your freedom, because once you truly accept it, you stop seeking rescue and start building power.